Are we rolling? Okay. We'll call the meeting to order. Becky, would you call the roll, please?
I sure will. Jim Sheeline,
Here.
Reed Acree,
Here.
Tom Kitson,
Present.
Mike Book, Jason Anderson,
Aye.
Tom Wilson,
Here.
Ally Huff.
All right, go around the room. Charlie, what do you got for us?
Oh, just briefly, I'll give you an update that my office has applied for a grant that we're hoping to hear by September 30th to see if we're going to get it. The request was for $479,000, 873 cents. I'm sorry, $873.52. It's for a 3-year grant. It's to help out with criminal justice responses for domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, and stalking. We've done something similar in the past before. We applied for a different OVW rural grant. Last year, we were unsuccessful in getting that grant, so we're trying for a different OVW grant and optimistic that we might be able to get this one. If we do, it's going to help offset some of the costs to 2 of the assistant state's attorneys in the office, as well as some supplies and other beneficial items for the office to be able to either offset those things or to help in the prosecutions that we have of those specific offenses.
Charlie,
Yeah, go ahead.
Charlie, are those federal or state grant?
Federal.
Federal grant.
Yep.
And has Congressman LaHood's office been notified of your application?
Sarah in my office does the grant writing. I'm not sure if she talked to him or not.
Make sure he does.
Yep.
She does.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
And when does that money kick in?
So if we find out, it's a quick turnaround. If we find out by September 30, it starts October 1st.
Awesome.
It's a fiscal year.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yep.
Good
And you
deal.
said it was 847,000?
No. So the max that you were allowed to ask for was $500,000. We requested $479,873.52.
I know Jason wanted to hear that double amount.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes.
That's a big deal.
That
That's
is
a big
great
deal.
deal.
Well, good for you for
Thanks.
going for it.
All right. Anything else for us, Charlie?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
How you coming along with getting you got one more person to get, right?
We do have an opening for an assistant state's attorney. We do have an intern in our office that sat for the bar and should get results by October 1st, maybe shortly thereafter. But it's still open and we're still taking applications if anybody's interested.
Good.
Yep.
Thank you.
We have guys that apparently have other things to
Oh,
do
I'm
and
sorry.
they're wanting to move this meeting along, Jason. Sorry.
Stop with the questions.
Reed, do you have anything?
Read the room. Read the room.
Clay, well, I guess it's a synopsis of the report or what's been
Well,
going
I
on real
hope-
quick.
You can read the report, but other than the report, we've had, as I mentioned to you on a telephone call yesterday, over the last 11 days, we've had 2 of our flock cameras get damaged. Somebody has taken a Sawzall to the pole and cut them. So the poles have been damaged. Well, fortunately, the camera and the solar panel have not been damaged. So I'm going to be putting out a press release asking the public to keep an extra eye on the license plate readers, and if they see any suspicious activity, to contact us, because it's a felony charge, criminal damage to government-supported property.
So it's unfortunate that people, yeah, I mean, it is all over social media that this is Big Brother doing all these horrible things and all these, what I call fallacious charges of what we're trying to do is keep our people safe.
Correct.
And you know, I just don't understand that mentality.
Unless you're
whatsoever.
driving a stolen vehicle, you're wanted on warrants, your driver's license is suspended, you got nothing to worry about.
Yep, exactly. All right.
Clay, are we responsible for cost? Do we lease those or how, what's the,
We lease them but we're responsible for the repairs.
so if the camera totally disappears, we have to replace it?
If it did, yes.
Okay.
Fortunately, it didn't in
Right, right.
these instances. I have
Thank you.
talked to Sheriff Van Vickle up in Ogle County. They've had a couple of their license plate readers that were actually shot. So they had to replace the whole camera.
Dean? Mike? Amy? Yes.
Poor guy, of course.
See, Tom's happy. We're back on schedule. So I'll bear, we continue to move along with our transition and everything's going well? Okay.
This isn't working, but you can probably hear me. Yes, everything's going well. We're still doing business processes, forms. I believe Tyler will be back in person probably after Labor Day, but everything is going very well.
Good. Good
Thank
to hear.
you.
All righty then. Oh, shoot, I just lost where I was supposed to be at. Where the heck, how'd I do that? Oh, yes, approval of minutes, any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, although entertain a motion, Mr. Kitson and Mr. Wilson, first and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion carried. Now, just give me a second here to get back. I hit the wrong darn button and it took me where I wasn't supposed to be. Okay.
Good question.
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
Is August 13th, the next meeting? Meeting is scheduled for,
That's today.
Today's
August
sorry, that's
13th
the
is-
minutes.
Is
Okay,
today. The
sorry.
next budget meeting is Tuesday,
Tuesday.
next Tuesday and then
Got it.
next Thursday. So, so that's the last of the hearing schedule and then, budget wrap up. So, okay. All right, we've got monthly financials. Reed, what do you got?
Good morning, everyone. So I think probably the big thing that hopefully jumped out at everybody when looking at these is we got our first property tax distribution. It's kind of more than probably what we've had in the past on the first one. I would say more just due to people paying a little earlier and able to have some payments reconciled in bank accounts and whatnot. So we were able to post some more batches. That won't really affect kind of what we get in total, but we got a little bit more a little earlier this time. Looking at the general fund.
Just
Yeah.
out of curiosity, Reed, does that, do you think, more people doing things online, going to the bank?
Certainly. And we did have an update to that process this year. We went with another vendor for taking online payments. And I think they're significantly more aggressive in trying to get people to get payments online and make it a lot easier for them to receive their tax bill via email in the future, let them set up for like automatic payments and stuff like that. So I do think that we are seeing a higher percentage of our payments come in via either the website or the phone system. We also have our banks collecting for us. If we didn't have that, certain times of the month, you'd probably see lines all the way out the front door here. I mean, just for one institution alone, right before our June collection, they probably had over 1,500 transactions that I got to reconcile just for 1 month. And we do appreciate that because otherwise they'd most likely be coming here.
Right.
So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So, now that we're starting to see that property tax revenue come in, we'll see that get a distribution basically every month for the remainder of the year. Kind of puts our financials in a little bit, looking a little bit better from a revenue to expense perspective. On the whole, our department heads on the expense side are, staying slightly under budget, from the math, we'd expect roughly 33% of our expenditures remaining for the year, and we're at 35. So kudos to our department heads, and as a favor to me, please keep managing your budget throughout the remainder of the year. I guess any questions on the general fund financials? If not, we can.
If not, go ahead.
Yeah, we can go over to the revenue side of things. Obviously, that first property tax distribution, definitely a little more than what we've kind of seen in the past on the first distribution, but just timing of when we were able to collect some payments. Sales tax continues to come in strong. Even after that one kind of down month, the next few have been significant. You know, I think one of them was high enough that it looked like it was making up for that one down month. I know the state of Illinois was switching their payment system, so I wonder if that potentially caused they had a cutoff where they gave us a little less 1 month so that they could transition that system, and then they made up for it in the next two. But sales tax numbers continue to come in strong. Income tax is relatively flat. I know it kind of goes up and down on each individual month, but you know, we're from the total with sales tax being a little up and income tax, use tax, PPRT, we're basically right at where we'd expect to be, maybe just slightly above that. So those numbers are coming in strong. We also got our, we'll call it Q3 of our fiscal year payment for the landfill tipping fees. Again, very consistent. We're not seeing a whole lot of increase year over year. We do get an adjustment every year for CPI for how much they're giving us per ton, but it seems like they're kind of the tons are kind of dropping a little bit, so that we're staying relatively flat there. Any questions on the revenue side?
So I see
Yeah.
on the local use, we're way down. And that's pretty much offsetting the increases we're seeing, you know, in the other.
In the sales tax, yeah. I mean, I think that, yeah. And actually, I know the number for the next month already, and it goes down to 4,700. So
Oh, man.
it's kind of a little all over the place. But I think that, yes, that's down, but the others being up are making up for it.
It's a wash, but we're not gaining. That's,
Right.
I
Yeah.
guess that's my point.
Yeah.
So I was a little surprised at some of the numbers on the personal property replacement tax. Those are
Yeah.
actually coming in fairly strong. Do we have any guidance to finish out the year?
So the state of Illinois, they're in their next fiscal year, so they did put out some information that they expect it to be flat to up 3%. I guess I anticipate us getting a little bit more than we budgeted for this year, and so I think we're probably going to be around 650,000, maybe a little more than that. And it sounds like next year will be relatively similar based on the state's projections. So I think, yeah, that 650 is probably a good number for next year's budget.
Okay. Any questions for Reed on monthly financials? Hearing none.
The only other
Go
thing I
ahead.
wanted to point out is just for something for you guys to expect next month. In the process with employees retiring every once in a while, depending on the circumstances, we'll get an accelerated payment for an individual or a few individuals. We are going to get a relatively hefty one that we'll pay next month, in the tune of about $100,000. Obviously, that's something that department heads don't necessarily control, and we don't really. It's IMRF's calculation, actuarial calculation, so we don't really have all of the inputs that they're using either. So it would be very hard for us to recalculate what that number might be or estimate what that number might be when we have individuals retiring. But I just wanted to let you guys know that we do have a large payment coming up, and obviously unexpected to that department head's budget. So
Reed, question in regards to that percentage of IMRF, it changes every year in terms of what the county has to come up with, right?
correct.
And how is that determined?
Through their actuarial analysis, right? They'll basically do an analysis of of all of the assets that they're holding, what percentage of those are Lee counties? And then they'll do that, they'll match that with, hey, based on what we know from history, what percentage of Lee County employees are going to retire and vest? What will those pension payments looks like? So they'll basically discount that back to today's dollars to see whether or not they have a positive or negative balance in the IMRF funds. And so that'll basically tell them whether or not they need to tweak that number up or down.
So when we have our department head meetings, do we ask the department heads to forecast that, hey, we're gonna have a retirement here in 6 months or 8 months? I mean, can we start asking those questions so we can prepare better down the road that?
I mean, we'll know, we knew that these people were retiring. The hard part is to calculate what that amount is going to be for their payment. It could be, we've had a few, one was 15,000 or 20,000. This is a relatively high one. I would say that there's only been two since I've been here where it's been significantly high. What plays a factor in that is wages over their last 4 years or their highest 4 years that they're using for their calculation. If it's over a certain percentage, that's kind of where that triggers an analysis by IMRF, and then they'll kind of come back with, hey, here's what you owe us. So we probably could have known that we were going to have an accelerated payment for these individuals, but probably not what exactly it was going to be.
When they calculate that out, if I'm not mistaken, Reed, they do a nominal projection of what they expect in investment returns. And when the reality hits, or, positive or negatively, that also affects that payment request, correct?
Well, so it'll affect what the rate we pay every year, right? So sometimes this situation could happen, but there are instances where you could, or we could potentially say, hey, based on these circumstances, it was a job change, right? Hey, this person went from this job to a different job, and that's kind of the reason for potentially the increase in wages. We can get that type of thing basically pushed out, and they'll then capture that in the analysis of what they charge from a rate for everybody throughout the year instead of an accelerated payment. This particular instance, there's maybe some evidence that we could have asked for something, but I think it wouldn't have really amounted to a lot of, maybe a partial adjustment to the increase, or to the accelerated payment decrease a little bit, but I think we're just probably better off paying it. But yes, like you said, so if we pay that 100,000 now, but then things change and their investments do significantly better, right? That is also going to play a factor into what our rate is for our employees going forward, right?
On the
So-
overall IMRF contribution.
Yep.
So
And
I
if we-
guess my point is that, we could recapture some of that if the market returns continue to be strong,
Yeah.
then we could see our contribution decline for a period of time.
And the good news is that the IMRF fund is probably one of the highest funded
in
pension
the
plans
system.
Yeah.
in the entire country.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
we're not
we're
worried about-
almost 100%.
We don't have to worry about it going broke and then having to make it up
No.
because it's funded.
Yep.
That's the good news about IMRF.
Yep.
I get their newsletter and they boast all the time about how highly funded they are and what the rate of return is. So I
And
would
they
hope
should.
that we would get some benefit on the backside. That would be a hope, but
Yeah. Any other questions for Reed? Anything else, Reed?
Nope.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Jeremy, do we have anything from insurance committee? We have an insurance
We are
committee.
still out, not for bid, but we're still collecting information from multiple agencies specific to our health insurance premiums and our health insurance programs. So our goal is to have something in the near future, but it's just been it's a bit of a process to work with all of them and to get the information back, especially with the quotes. So again, we've been working with local agencies as well as, agencies like CMS and things like that. So, yep, trying to get things updated.
All righty. Well, while you're at it, go right into the administrator report.
Really, the only thing to share is that Reed and I continue to, look at the budget drafts that came in and trying to make some preliminary, what I would say just, on our side, preliminary adjustments to that as we're continuing to look at balancing the budget. As we move forward, when we start getting to like our budget wrap up, we'll be probably presenting some things that Finance Committee really needs to go through and process and make some decisions on. So that will help us continue to work on that budget balance as we move forward here. So over the next couple of months, that's going to be, one of the main jobs for us to do while working with finance.
I'll take the opportunity to say thanks to Reed Acree for sitting in my stead while I was otherwise occupied elsewhere. And appreciate that, Reed, taking on that. As far as, did you want to make any comments as far as how the hearings went with the department heads and that kind of thing?
I thought they went fairly smoothly. I thought every one of them was prepared. We had a couple that were no-shows, not department heads, but maybe some of the services, which was fine. We made things work. And then, no, everything was good. And it was certainly my pleasure to take on that role. So.
Well, thanks. For
One comment,
Yeah.
though, that as he mentioned, there were several social services people on the budget that didn't show up. And my opinion is that we should inform them if they don't come and sit down with us and ask and explain what they want the money for and how it's used. I don't know why we'd be obligated to give it. I mean, we
Well, that's
offer the
fair.
opportunity to come and give a testimony. The senior center was unable to make it, but the next day they Zoomed us and we had a good conversation with the senior center. But I think the city of Amboy, city of Ashton, there might have been one more that didn't show up. And I just think that maybe, Jeremy, you ought to inform them that if they want that line item, then they ought to come and schedule a time to be a part of one of our budget hearings. That's just my opinion, that they should show up and tell us, because otherwise, why would we fund it?
Right.
If we don't know what the money's being used for.
Right. No, that's fair.
And Jeremy, a question. So when you get down to where you're into the nitty gritty and you're gonna say the finance committee has some decisions to make, are you gonna send us an email in advance of the meeting so we can have some time to think about what you're asking?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We'll give you, again, a lot of what we're doing right now is, trimming some of the low hanging fruit. It's not, it's not anything that we're really going, it's pretty standard process, but as there are going to be some decisions on, when we start looking at the bottom line, are we able to bring in, a new headcount here or do some of the additions that were requested? And again, most of what we've had has been pretty flat, from the budget drafts that have come through, but there still are going to be some decisions that will have to be made. So, and, we will have that prepared and we'll get that to you.
And do I understand, Jim had mentioned about the union, the call to negotiate or the call to have a contract discussion has been made. So when does that process begin?
So Jeremy, you want to go ahead and talk about that?
Yeah, so both unions have reached out with their notices. So we will, once we hear back from them on some potential dates, we will sit down and our negotiating committee will work with that team to start negotiating that. But that's another thing. We have two large union contracts that we have to consider that we are going to be negotiating we will probably still be negotiating, or still in negotiations when our budget's passed.
When your budget passes?
So
That was my next question.
Yeah. So we those are some things that we have to consider.
Yeah.
And that really brings it, and I'm glad you brought that up, Jason, because that really it makes it very challenging to do a budget when you have, 75% of our budget is personnel.
Labor.
And you're talking these two, you know, the engineer union is, you know, significant in what they do for us as a county, but in the great scheme of the budget is less than, and then we have FOP, which is a major part
Yeah.
of our.
It's the largest part of our budget. right?
Yeah, and so it really is a challenge and, you know, we're challenge Reed to really roll those numbers so that we, you know, can anticipate having a good negotiations with the unions. So, you know, we're wanting to treat our people right and but at the same time, we have challenges within our budget of what resources we have available. So anyway, as Tom well knows. So, anything else, Jeremy? I just had to slink that in there. Sorry, Tom. You know, it used to be Clay. You know, it used to be Clay. I always see him nodding. You know, Jim always thank God for Tom because now the pressure's off me. Anyway, we have no Joseph E. Myers. We do not have any ARPA reporting for this month, and we don't have any other unfinished business or new business. So unless there's anything else good for the cause, once, twice, three times, I'd entertain. Yep.
Our next meeting is the 18th for the budget hearing,
Yes.
right?
That is
Yes.
correct. So
Tuesday?
the next meeting is Tuesday, the 18th for the final budget hearing with department heads. And then the following meeting would be Tuesday, the
That's more important.
25th for wrap up.
25th. And that'll definitely, well, that's not a maybe, that's a for sure. We'll have
Yes,
a meeting on the 25th.
that is correct.
Right. Good.
And that's our budget wrap up meeting. So at that meeting, Reed and I's goal is to get you more of a summary of some of the things that we are seeing that finance committee is gonna want to ponder and look at.
Will it be that meeting that will approve the budget to be passed?
No.
When's the next time?
So we're gonna work through that. So in October,
That's in October. Okay.
we'll have the budget on the agenda to be held over for approval in November, which will be a truth and taxation and budget hearing meeting or budget meeting.
And that is.
Maybe truth and taxation if we need it.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's passed here and handed to the executive, who then hands it to the full board.
That's correct.
Thank you. I didn't know the process.
Okay. Anything else? We'll see everybody Tuesday and except for Tom, who just informed me that he's not going to be able to make it Tuesday. Okay, and Tom will be in, so, okay, appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for this morning. Moved by Wilson, seconded by Kitzman. All those in favor, Kitzman.